Hello and welcome. Today we're gonna talk about Sinking, the bootleg that we made. I'm Jeff from Perfect Mandem. We did a poll on Instagram and we asked you, what would you like to see first, our vlog or the how we made Sinking. Today we woke up to cool news. The Sinking bootleg went to number 2 in top 5 on Hype Edit. It's like one of the top free download websites for SoundCloud producers and stuff. This project we made literally like in a day. Yeah, me and Ashling, we just sat down. I was just properly so involved, and literally like maybe in 6 hours that's how it came out. It's an easy project and came out amazing. Thank you for support. Something is missing. I think I'm just gonna change. Now more like it. Sweet, let's dive into the project. Or shall I say, sink in. Let's just talk about how it all started. So initially, I've just woke up and I was like, okay, Ashling, we need to make a bootleg on Sinking because it's quite hot tune and something might come out of this. I had no idea what we we're gonna do. This sound idea with this like really soft, subby, noisy, and this ticky kind of stuff on the top. Came from because we recently found this tune called Tribal Behavior by Substance. It sounds like this. So it has this kind of psytrance kind of feel on a drop used by bass. So Ashling told me like you should make something like this and see what happens. I was like, yeah, let's do that. Without Inai's tune, it's gonna sound like this. Just go through from the top to the bottom what I have. We can see I have my kick and snare channel with my kicks. The way I like to do, I like to layer my kicks like bottom and top separately. So on my top I have this, and on my bottom I have this, and together they sound like this. They just give that proper thumpy feel to it. I like to use drum rack and just MIDI trigger, just put all these small MIDI cubes and trigger my sounds like this. So that means that in case I need to change sound, I can just drag and drop it and just replace it in it, and it's just gonna replace for all of the sequence, which is sick. Snare, for this particular, I just used the clap. By the way, all the sounds that I used, like kicks and snares, and majority of the sounds pretty much, are taken from the sample pack library I produced for sample tools by CR2 called Drum and Bass 2 and 3. There's a lot of cool serum presets that you guys can use. I'll link it up later on as well. Which is a clap. It's just a generic clap, not that much processing going on because it's already quite fat. Here on this track I have my sound sidechain. I like to trigger my sidechain not with a signal, with a MIDI. Well, there is like operator playing. You can just hear this like real clicky. So that's all I need. Hi-hats, simple hi-hats. Tambourine. By the way, this tambourine does not belong to the library, I just got it on Splice. All my kick and snare belong to kick and snare drum bus, where they get processed by glue compressor. Fair amount of reduction going on. I just get I just like to squeeze all the juice out of my sounds as much as possible, and glue compressor seems to be doing this nicely. I like to put this soft clip setting, so when it hits red, and my channels are usually hitting red, it's kind of soft clipping it, so it's kind of trimming down the peaks, and it kind of brings that nice, like, kind of smooth distortion to it. And then my drums bus, I've got my drum bus plugin. It just brings that extra compression and like it just gives that extra release to the sounds and everything. And obviously glue compressor again. We come to the basses. If I disable sidechain, probably that'll be a good shout. Yeah. This is the sound we use for the parts where it collides with inline sinking. This part is really cool. I just literally took some bits of sinking, you know, some this like the most iconic parts, and just like put them out in a different way, the way I wanted to make that groove. And this boy is the pitch of this boy is being automated. Wow. This sound is actually belongs to the library I was talking about, Sample Tools by CR2. That's the thing we produced a while back. And yeah, it's been serving me really nicely. This is literally just a sine wave with a bit of noise on a hit to give that extra hit. One of the LFOs is modulating master tune. It goes up really quickly in pitch when it hits, and then it goes down really quickly. Slow it down so you can actually see what's going on. You know what I mean? So that's what you want to emulate, to bring you that extra, you know, organic element in your production. And here basically we come to the, obviously, the center of attention of the tunes, which is these boys. The bottom sound is actually two sounds. One is pure subby, heavy substance kind of sound, and this one is like a support, you know, on a low mid frequency, so that what makes it sound nice on your phone and your speaker. If I was playing this song without this, it will sound like this. Extra grittiness to it. On the actual Serum preset of this, it's actually just sine wave, and everything else is processing. I use OTT to beefing up the sound a little. Then the next thing, I talked about it in my other tutorial in more details, but what I do with this effects rack, I split my sound into top and bottom bands. My top band is going to be from 100 Hz and up till top, and my bottom band is going to be up from 0 to 100 Hz. So by splitting the sound into these bands, I can, you know, work with them separately. In this particular case, I would just wanted to bring the whatever comes up till 100 Hz saturated, to bring all these harmonics out, and top part is actually saturated as well, really saturated. So let's see what was being affected. So if I'm gonna do the bottom saturation first, all these harmonics starts to come out, and the top part saturated even more separately from the bottom. So there you go. So here I have erosion, just whack noise, white noise alongside with your bass, and it's just gonna bring that extra like detail, information to it. It sounds more exciting. So without it, it sounds like this, and with it, it sounds like this. It gives you that grittiness feeling to it, doesn't it? So then I saturate that again as a whole. And that's where the sinister aspect starts to come in. And after that, I bring some more noise to it. That's how we get the sub. So for mid, pretty much the same. I took the low frequencies away from the Serum patch, and I actually pre-saturated a little bit here straight away. Again, OTT, effects rack. Don't need the bottom frequencies of this sound. All we need is just this low mid. Yeah. The top is not touched, and then I bring it to saturation as a whole. After that, I just take some stuff that seems to be too much in the mix. For the laser sounds, that's how I call them in the project. Three is literally the same sounds, they just like have different rate of LFO going, and instead of automating it, I just kind of made a separate track with them, so I don't mess with them. So with this one, pretty much all you can hear is there's a square wave that modulates the pitch of the oscillator 1, modulates the volume of the oscillator, which gives that movement. And but what makes it cool is that when you bring the unison level to the max, well, in this case we did to the max, that's what made it sound softer. But like, it also introduced some kind of internal rhythmical pattern, if you will, inside the actual sound. So if it wasn't for my laptop, I would be able to properly show you. But at this point, there's not that much I can do about it. However, what I will do, I will take the tune away from this project, and I'll just share you my bass and my drums and everything. Basically, what I have right now here, apart from the actually nice song, because obviously I can't share it with you. But make sure you buy it to support the artist. And yeah, you can just look, check the sounds on your own. Just do whatever you want with them. I'm more than happy to share it with you guys. In order for me to make sure that it sounds okay in mono, I just, on my master, I always have this utility thing where I can just like spend my most time producing with. It's like just press stuff on mono and make sure it sounds good on mono, and then on stereo it's gonna sound already good anyways. If I was to bring the unison level down, it will be like this. If I bring the unison level up, it's gonna sound like this. And the thing is, because I have a good mono coming from the bass, it kind of supports the non-stable phasing situation on the sound. That's how it sounds. That's how it looks like, isn't it? So that's a vectorscope. It helps you to see what's going on in your phase levels. +1 means mono, -1 means it just cancels. So, and yeah, you can see how the rhythmical pattern of this. Here I have just like a mono speaker where I can just test it out, so I can kind of know how it's gonna sound like on a big system where it's made to be played. This is separate variation of this. It's exactly the same sound, but I just brought down the rate. This one is like, whoa. Nice. In order to glue them all together, I send them to my reverb channel. Without it, it will sound kind of like this. This is another thing that, like, how to glue your sounds together is without sending it to the reverb. It kind of sounds a bit too too dry. It's just really low volume, but that glues your sounds together as a composition. But however, in order not to override your sounds, what I did on my reverb send, obviously I have my reverb. I cut some low frequencies from my reverb because I don't need them on my send. I compress it. Yeah, you can hear that. And also I put sidechain on it, so every time the kick drum hits or snare drum hits, it ducks the volume of the reverb. So this is the trick that helps me to maintain the cleanliness in my mix while still introducing this reverb element. And for the effects, what I have is just a simple razor that I made. It's just a noise oscillator to the max, and I just put the filter on it and just automated the filter, as you can see here. Whoa. And on top of my regular automation, which is this, whoa, here, I also put the LFO on it as well, so it kind of like, gives that kind of feel to it. You can see it's working. easy. I just find, you know, effects like this, it's so much easier to make yourself as opposed to going and looking for them and wasting your time on that. So what I wanted quickly to talk about is basically what makes this sound beefy, as you know, as I wanted it to be, is actually what the processing I use. But we talk about drum bass, let's talk about basses. So on my laser bit, it's compressed by OTT. I bring the extra harmonics on the lower layer of my laser sound. Top is untouched. Bring some white noise to it. Again, without white noise, it sounds like this. And white noise gives it completely different feel to it. And your ears, they decode this information and they take it as a interesting, exciting sound. And obviously I cut some low frequencies and I cut some annoying frequencies that in the mix together they overlap, so I just, you know, cut that bit. Yeah, so for my bass's bus, which is quite important. First thing what I did, I cut my 25 hertz and everything below that. So imager, that's where I widen my sound. But it's important what I find that when you use stereoize function on your ozone imager, without this function, it kind of messes with your phase a little. When you when you press on stereoize, somehow the algorithm works that it still manages to expand your sound in your stereo field, but doesn't mess with your phase that much, which is amazing. It's so sick. Yes, I personally find that if you bring too much stereo information on your super high frequencies, let's say for streaming platforms like SoundCloud and everything, this information is going to be lost. So I try to keep it a little bit mono on a really high frequency content, but still kind of, you know, bring the full body to stereo body to my mid and high frequencies. Next is sidechain. Sidechain, as I told you before, being triggered by that sidechain MIDI thing. It gives that cool groove to it, innit? So then after that we have, this is what the other type of sidechain I use using FabFilter Q3, is that it has this dynamic equalizer option, which also serves as a sidechain option as well. So for this, I just sent the sidechain option. I just sent the snare information into this channel, so it starts to be triggered by the snare. What's cool about this, it actually tells you when the snare plays what frequencies the snare is at, and yours sound separately, so then you can actually see, okay, that's the area where I need to, you know, bring the something down. It actually suggests you where you can do it as well with this red areas. If I was to play it together, next one is Q3, again the same thing but with the kick. And with my kick, that's where it really helps me to, you know, fit my kick with my sub, which is you know, it's really important in dance music. I find this really does the job for me well. So again, when the kick hits the low frequency of my bass, not exactly all volume of my bass, but just low frequency content of my bass, like in this case it's 62 hertz, ducking down when kick hits, and then when kick doesn't, you know, stops hitting, it just goes back in it. So that's what happens. And top it off with a limiter, because I like to go red. And after that, it all goes into my drums, and bass information goes into send, which is called drum and bass, where it all just gets processed by glue compressor again to bring the extra. So without it, it will sound like this. Cool, guys. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna share this project with you. But I'm gonna remove syncing bit, So you're not gonna get that. What you're gonna get is this. And I wish someone was shared this project that I liked of some producer, so I could actually just dissect of what's going on, understand the signal processing and everything. That would be really helpful to me like years ago. But I'm glad I actually since there's so much interest towards this tune, I'm actually glad I can share this information with the fellow producers. And yeah, a lot of new exciting tunes to come out. We're working on cool stuff, and really glad you like the song. Thank you very much for your massive support, and on Block to Block and downloading this song on Instagram everywhere. It's crazy, man, how things go. Massive thank you for this. Yeah, I'm gonna share this project, and I'm gonna also include the information where you can watch another tutorials by me on the signal processing chain, on sidechain, on some other stuff, and where I review the actual pack. Anyways, thank you for watching, thank you for your interest, and let me know what you think. Shall we do some more tutorials? Because we have a lot of ideas about what kind of stuff we can do and what kind of information I can share with you. That'll be sick. So yeah, big love, guys.